let's talk about how we're going to get started with this. I would always here in the beginning like to encourage you to start off by going into your directory and just without having done anything, run the test suite and see what you get. And the first thing that we're going to see is that we're failing the test exists. And as always, this is looking for a particular program name. Here it needs to be called picnic.py. Um, Not a very pretty output here to have to parse out, but it's there. So um, how do we get started? From this directory, if my new PY program is installed in one parent directory up and then in the bin parent directory down, I'm going to show you how to run that here. So if I say ... that's going to be the parent directory, / is the separator, and from here up above me is a bin directory. Inside that bin directory is a program called new.py. I can press N and then hit the tab key and my command line will complete. That is one location of the new.py. I've actually copied this into my path so that I can execute it from anywhere, but from this directory, if I wanted to execute a program that was in a relative directory from where I am, this is one way I could do it. I could also go to the parent directory and run it as bin new.py, but I wanted to show you this. So if I say ... bin new.py and then I say picnic.py, it will create the program for me. So that's another way I could run this. I could also go to the parent directory and say bin new.py, and then in the picnic directory, picnic.py, this sees that the program exists and does not want to override it unless I say yes. So I'll just say no, I don't want to override it. And that's how I'll do that. Let me go back into my picnic directory. And now if I run make test, I will always pass the first two tests because the program both exists and responds to a request for help with something that looks like usage. It's not the correct usage, but it is something. Right now, the program still is set to all the default values from new.py. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is to change this so that it will match the help that we're supposed to get. So let's look at what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to be some item followed by some other item. And in the meta stuff that we're supposed to understand here, the meta language, is that this is a positional argument because it's not in square brackets. And then this in square brackets shows that, I'm sorry, this is not a required argument because it's not in square brackets, but the square brackets here shows that this is an optional argument. So it's some required argument followed by an optional argument that can be repeated. That's what the ellipses are showing here. So we're missing some string argument, some item that we're supposed to be bringing. And if we run this with the -h or -- help flags, it's going to look like this. So maybe it would be helpful to also look at the string diagram. So the program is going to need to take some items and also a flag about whether it is something that is whether or not the item should be sorted. That's going to go into the program, and what's going to come out is the items. For instance, if it just gets the argument salad, it's going to say you were bringing salad. So how are we going to make our program accept those arguments? Let's talk about that. Let me open up picnic.py, and the thing that we're going to have to change here is this, positional. Positional needs to be it's going to be items, the items that we're bringing. And well, let's change the help as well. Items we are bringing. And we don't need this argument, or that one, or that one. We don't need any of those. Something that we do need, however, is a way to change this one to be more than one argument. And we can use intargs equals plus for that. And we're going to talk more about that in a little bit. But this is a shorthand. This is a little recipe for telling argparse that the number of arguments for items needs to be plus. And plus means one or more. And again, we're going to talk about that in a bit. The other thing that we need to add is a -s or -- sorted flag. This is a Boolean flag that when this is present, we're telling it store a true value. And this is whether to sort the items. And so we're telling it to store true. So when it's not present, the default value is going to be false. If we save this and now run our program with -h, now we see a help that looks pretty close to the help output here. Some sort of string followed by another string and some possibly more. It's the items that we're bringing. And then some sorted flag. This is an optional argument. It's sorted. And you notice that there's not a value that comes after it. Like in our hello, when we changed the name to be an option, it was -- name followed by something like universe or world. Here, there's nothing following the -- sorted. It's either present or absent. So when it's absent, the value is going to be false. And when it's present, the value will be true, saying that this thing was present. So that's how we're going to define our arguments.